Today is October 14th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today at the Big Book, we're going to continue Chapter 7, Working with Others. We'll be reading page 91. At the 12 and 12, we will once again continue our journey through Step 12 by reading page 116. And of course, we'll read today's 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Once again, we've been given a brand new set of 24 hours, and today is my sobriety birthday. 6 years going on one day at a time. And all I can say is that it wasn't me. It was all glory to my higher power. And I guess just the willingness to try something different and to listen. And as I look back, I still got a long way to go working this program one day at a time. But I am so grateful I'm not where I was 6 years ago. And all glory to my higher power. So with that, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. Alright, so if you recall from yesterday's reading, we have been talking about what we should do when we're working with others. There's been a lot of great practical advice. One thing is not to preach at them. If he doesn't want to stop drinking, don't waste time by trying to persuade him. But bottom line is we should never force ourselves upon anyone. So with that, we're going to go ahead and read page 91. Usually the family should not try to tell your story. When possible, avoid meeting a man through his family. Approach through a doctor or an institution is a better bet. If your man needs hospitalization, he should have it, but not forcibly unless he is violent. Let the doctor, if he will, tell him that he has something in the way of a solution. When your man is better, the doctor might suggest a visit from you. Though you have talked with the family, leave them out of the first discussion. Under these conditions, your prospect will see that he is under no pressure. He will feel that he can deal with you without being nagged by his family. Call on him while he is still jittery. He may be more receptive when depressed. See your man alone if possible. At first, engage in general conversation. After a while, turn the talk to some phase of drinking. Tell him enough about your drinking habits, symptoms, and experiences to encourage him to speak of himself. If he wishes to talk, let him do so. You will thus get a better idea of how you ought to proceed. If he is not communicative, give him a sketch of your own drinking career, up to the time that you quit. But say nothing for the moment of how that was accomplished. If he is in a serious mood, dwell on the troubles liquor has caused you, being careful not to moralize or lecture. If his mood is light, tell him humorous stories of your escapades, and get him to tell some of his. When he sees that you know all about the drinking game, commence to describe yourself as an alcoholic. Now the 12 and 12 we're on step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Page 116. As we made spiritual progress, we saw through these fallacies. It became clear that if we were ever to feel emotionally secure among grown-up people, we would have to put our lives on a give-and-take basis. We would have to develop the sense of being in a partnership or brotherhood with all those around us. We saw that we would need to give constantly of ourselves without demands for repayment. When we persistently did this, we gradually found that people were attracted to us as never before. And even if they failed us, we could be understanding and not too seriously affected. When we developed still more, we discovered the best possible source of emotional stability to be God Himself. We found that dependence upon His perfect justice, forgiveness, and love was healthy. That would work where nothing else would. If we really depended upon God, we couldn't have very well played God to our fellows, nor would we feel the urge wholly to rely on human protection and care. These were the new attitudes that finally brought many of us an inner strength and peace that could not be deeply shaken by the shortcomings of others, or by any calamity not of our own making. This new outlook was, we learned, something especially necessary to us alcoholics. For alcoholism had been a lonely business, even though we had been surrounded by people who loved us. But when self-will had driven everybody away and our isolation had become complete, it caused us to play the big shot in cheap bar rooms, and then fare forth alone on the street to depend upon the charity of passers-by. We were still trying to find emotional security by being dominating or dependent upon others. "24 hours a day, October 14th. AA thought for the day. How big a part of my life is AA? Is it just one of my activities and a small one at that? Do I only go to AA meetings now and then and sometimes never go at all? Do I think of AA only occasionally? Am I reticent about mentoring the subject of AA to people who might need help? Or does AA fill a large part of my life? Is it the foundation of my whole life? Where would I be without AA? Does everything I have and do depend on my AA foundation? Is AA the foundation on which I build my life? Meditation for the day. Lay upon God your failures and mistakes and shortcomings. Do not dwell upon your failures, upon the fact that in the past you've been nearer a beast than an angel. You have a mediator between you and God. Your growing faith, which can lift you up from the mire and point you toward the heavens. You can still be reconciled with the Spirit of God. You can still regain your harmony with the divine principle of the universe. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not let the beast in me hold me back from my spiritual destiny. I pray that I may rise and walk upright. Daily Reflection, October 14th. A program for living. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. Before we begin, we ask God to direct our thinking, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity, dishonest, or self-seeking motives. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 86. I lacked serenity. With more to do than seemed possible, I fell further behind, no matter how hard I tried. Worries about things not done yesterday and fear of tomorrow's deadlines denied me the calm that I needed to be effective each day. Before taking steps 10 and 11, I began to read passages like the ones cited above. I tried to focus on God's will, not my problems, and to trust that He would manage my day. It worked. Slowly, but it worked. All right, that concludes today's reading, my friends. Another great series of readings today. The one that really stands out to me, speaks to me right now, is the 24 hours a day. And the question right here, where would I be without AA? There's so many things I could say. I have wondered that so many times. You know, I can still remember 6 years ago, standing in my kitchen, begging my wife not to leave my newborn daughter and I guess he was a 1.5 years old son, begging them not to leave, saying I will try anything to change. I'll even try this AA thing, whatever it is. and seeing, my wife look at me in the eye. And I mean, we've been together since 2003, so 21 years now. I know the look when she didn't believe me. And honestly, it was crushing because even as I'm begging her, there's a fear in the back of my mind going, yeah, but you've tried to stop before. You tried this, you've tried that, and this and that. And you can't stop, Rob. You can't stop. What are you going to do about it? So for me, it's almost like I knew something supernatural would have to happen. But it started off practical first, I said, okay, well, I've tried everything else. Let me try this AA thing. And I walked into the rooms of AA, tail tucked between my legs, embarrassed, riddled with guilt and shame over the things I'd done while drinking. And it's like I walked into a warm embrace. I never met a more genuine group of people in my life. From the very first meeting, I still remember who was chairing. And that big old warm smile. And I'm not breaking anonymity now. She passed away years ago. But I believe her name was Caitlin. She was so joyful. And just a beautiful picture of AA. And she was one of many who helped me out, showed me kindness, and worked the program, like these readings say, where they helped the newcomer out. They got me plugged in, and long story short, by just simply listening, and with the desire to keep coming back and learning more and more and more, and then eventually having a trusted friend take me through the steps, I gained a family and a program for living. And I don't know if I've ever shared this. During my first year of sobriety, I went from being in that kitchen, getting the look of, I don't believe you, you're never going to change, to 1 year later, my wife presents me with my 1-year medallion. I still get teary-eyed thinking about it. And all I can say is glory to my higher power, and that it truly is, just like the ones I've heard. They may have 20, 30, 40 years under their belt. They all say it. Truly, it is just one day at a time of working the program to the best of our ability. We're going to slip up, we're going to make mistakes, we're going to trip up, but we get right back up. And the nice thing is the Big Book tells us what to do when we mess up. It's in the steps. I wish I could say so much more, but words cannot express the level of gratitude I have just to be sober today and have this second chance. My whole life, I really never knew who I was. And I feel like through sobriety, I'm starting to unravel the person I was always meant to be. I wasn't meant to live in fear and in guilt and shame. No. I have a whole new attitude and outlook upon life. Glory to my higher power. And guess what, my friend? You can have that too. If you are sober today, you're a miracle. And if you're not sober today, my friend, you're still a miracle because you're alive and you have the opportunity to change. Why not take that first step today? Get the support you need. You do not have to do this alone. And with that, if we're given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.